This is high density on unpruned trees. It's working. It's working, and it is possible. I always say if you want to plant high density, you know, it takes more work, but this is no work, and it's still working. Nat could have just planted trees along the whole way here, even 20 feet apart, and had enough room for a lot of these, but this is a different style, and if you do this, it's less, and no work she's doing, and she's getting mangoes. That's the key.
Well, look at all the wild mango trees you see out there, the turpentines and whatever's growing, whatever. People don't take care of those trees, and they do well.
Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. I am at an amazing yard today that I want to show you some important stuff. I actually been here before, but the I lost the video, so I came back here, and the owner Nat was so kind to let us come on out again and see her amazing trees. But this is what we're going to be talking about today. She has these giant mango trees that she never pruned, and there's 3 8 feet apart in a triangle, and we're going to talk about that today, of how they're doing on this ultra density, non-pruning these trees, no work, and how it's going. And she has some other cool trees in a cool place here. This place is beautiful, and we're going to check it out right now. Okay, everybody, here we are with Nat, and Nat has some fruit trees in the yard. She's going to show us around. So, hi, Nat. How long have you been at this property?
Since 2009.
And how big's the property?
About 1.25 acres.
Now, were there any fruit trees here when you moved in?
Nada.
Okay, what made you decide to plant the trees?
I've had fruit trees in South Florida since 1997, when one day I stumbled upon Excalibur fruit trees and met Richard Wilson. And I'll never forget, I had 2 small kids, 3 actually at one point, I had 3 small kids with me. And he took us on a golf cart and he took us all around and introduced us to the world of fruit trees. He actually started picking fruit and letting the kids taste it. And before you knew it, it became a family hobby.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've had more than one house, and they're all now populated with fruit trees.
When you left from one house to another, did you take fruit trees with you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so show us what you got.
Well, we'll start off in this corner with a tree that's never given me fruit, 2 of them. This is a raw Sapote. And, you know Rob?
Yes.
Rob sold me this tree when he worked at Excalibur, actually. He used to go there on Saturdays. I think that's a long time ago. And we've pruned it a few times. I really have been neglectful in fertilizing it, but I have no idea why it's never given me fruit. It was literally this big when I got it. It was like a small 1 gallon. And it has grown despite all that, and we've actually topped it off a few times, and I'm going to talk to somebody, maybe somebody that knows, to find out what I'm doing wrong, or maybe it's not a raw Sapote. Maybe he sold me a dud.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, it would be some type of fruit tree, and there's no fruit. That's the problem. How old is it?
Since 2009.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Yes.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, if any of the viewers have any idea, what you could suggest, let us know in the comments.
Like, not even a bloom. Weird. But anyway,
I'm not... fertilize it at all?
No, maybe that's the problem. But one time I fertilized, it's very sensitive to fertilizer like a Jaboticaba is. The leaves got very brown, and I was gingerly fertilizing it with the fertilizer from the Fruit Society. So I got to figure out what to do with it, really.
Sure. Okay.
My husband tried to cut it down, and I said, no.
No, it's not in the way.
That guy I snuck in the yard. It's not in a great spot, but it's done quite well. That is a Mamea Americana.
Wow. Wow, I just recently tasted those, and I want to get one. How old is that?
Maybe 2012 or 14. Never got fruit off it. But I don't know if you need a male and a female for that. I
don't think you do.
No,
I don't think you do.
Maybe it's just not ready to give me fruit. It doesn't get a lot of sun there. It gets some sun. It gets afternoon sun when it comes from the west. But it's a healthy looking tree, and it's a good looking tree.
Do you know the variety?
Well, one of the guys that works at Mount's Botanical Garden dug it up for me and gave it to me. Because there was like 1 million seedlings, and the guy was working there, and I said, hey, would you mind? And he said, no, I'll dig it up for you, and he put it in a pot. So whatever's at Mount's, that's what that is.
I've recently tasted that. It's wonderful, and I did a video about it.
I saw the video.
Yes.
I tasted it at the Fruit and Spice Park down in Homestead. Absolutely delicious fruit. If people knew how good it would be planted all over. But once again, I haven't gotten fruit, so...
In the Caribbean, it is planted all over. They have a lot. I have a friend that's from there, and they said it's all over the place down there. They're big trees, though, really big trees.
Yeah, that's a little stunted because it hasn't really been a good spot. I sort of just stuck it there. I don't know what I was thinking. Now, nestled in the middle of this palmetto bunch, and we have palmettos, as you can see, quite a few. These are native trees, and people actually use the berries for like medicinal use. You're not even allowed to pick the berries, believe it or not. But we never took them out because this is a neighborhood that believes in nature. So we have some of the biggest Norfolk pines you'll ever see. Look at that. You'll never see one like that. Now that is not native, but that was planted in 1974. That one right there is just humongous. Mm-hmm. And so we never really, we never took them out. But, you know, we sort of believe in the fruit trees along with the nature because they're so amazing. You see the bottom of that tree? That was hit by lightning a few months ago.
Wow.
Still didn't seem to hurt it, but hurt my ears. So anyway, in the middle of this palmetto, this is a Dupuis, okay? A Dupuis Saigon.
Right in the front here, yes.
It is not a small tree. It's a big tree. It's been in maybe 12 or 13 years. I bought this tree from Walter Zill. So have you met Walter Zill? I'm sure you have, right? And he has a bunch of very large ones actually on his property, or he did. I haven't been there in a while. But the fruit is pretty bulletproof, no disease. Very prolific every year, not only on one side of the tree, but all over the tree. And this tree is not in an optimal place. It's got to compete with big roots from those that I left in there just as a nature thing. I haven't fertilized it in a long time. The fruit is about, I don't know, maybe a little bit bigger than a large pear. And it's yellow. It's yellow and very sweet and delicious. Another tree that is underplanted, in my opinion, since there's so much disease problem and the only drawback from this tree is it is a large tree.
Do you ever prune it?
No. I'm going to this year. I'm going to hire somebody and prune and that knows what they're doing. My husband pruned one tree for me, and he stunted it for a year, and he stunted it. So he's not allowed to prune trees. This is a Sapodilla. It is a Malika, I believe. No, I forgot the name of it. It's got fruit all over it. The sad part about it is most of the fruit goes to waste because I can't possibly eat it all, and I don't sell. So when fruit season comes over, if anybody wants anything,
I'm raising my hand.
You can have some.
Yes.
As you can see, they're small right now, but they get to be about that big.
Wow.
So and you know, people that don't like them just don't pick them properly. You gotta wait. You see, it's got like a rough skin, real rough looking skin. You got to wait till the skin is completely smooth. Now, that whole thing with rubbing it, not being green, I found that's not that accurate. It's when the skin is like super thin and smooth. And you know, when they come off, not very difficult. You got to be careful. The latex, it is very irritative to your hands. And if you get it on your clothes, you can't get it off. But,
I recently found the best way to pick if it's ripe, for me at least. My trees are smaller and I'm going to keep them smaller, but I found the best way to pick it for me. I was at somebody's house and they told me this, and it works because I did it at mine. You shake it, and if it's ripe, it comes off.
Like anything else, exactly. Yeah. But somebody, you know, there was like rumor out there that Sapodilla trees are slow growing. I call that hogwash. I have not, look at the size of this tree. It's bigger than my mango trees, and I don't fertilize it. And I mean, no deficiency, no nothing. This is a bulletproof tree.
And how old is this tree?
Probably 2010 around. I didn't plant this, it's not one of the first ones, but about 2010. So, you know, 23 years, what is that? 2010, 2023 13. Years old? Not 23, 13.
13, yeah.
So, not an elderly tree, but it grew very fast. And again, I don't have the best, my soil is sandy, and there's so many pine needles that I think many years of pine needles has made it a little on the acidic side. This tree does not look very healthy, does it? But it's Cushman. Now, I like the taste of Cushman, and I like the shape. I think they're super cool. So this tree is not recommended to plant because it does get, the tree itself does get some disease. This tree's got a little deficiency to it. You can see the leaves are not as healthy as they can be. It sort of self-prunes this tree. As you see, it's sort of sparse, and that's a good thing. With mangoes, they need to get the light inside, but it doesn't give me fruit every year. Now, this year was a absolute stunner of a year. It gave me a ton of fruit. And they're round, grapefruit sized and grapefruit color, and they do get some fungus. I don't spray my trees, everything's organic. Even with the fungus, I still picked them, and the fungus didn't affect the fruit. It was just more of a cosmetic thing. And I find them pretty delicious, but it's not a recommended tree.
Now, how close, I don't know if you have a tape measure on you, but how close is that tree from that tree? Do you know?
Maybe 10 feet.
Okay, now on this Sapodilla, when you get fruit, is it always on just this side, or do you sometimes get it?
I get it. Well, I don't get much where it's shady like over there, but pretty much I get fruit on the whole tree.
But on the inside, you don't get as much.
No, I don't.
Okay.
But do I really need to?
No, that's true. Now, if this tree wasn't dead, then you probably would, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on the mango tree, when it's in full bloom and you get mangoes, on the inside, same story, you don't get as much as the outside?
No, I got a lot of, this year, I got a lot all over, even on the inside.
Okay.
The ones that are in the shady sort of areas, they take a longer time to mature. Okay. So actually it stunts them a little bit, but then when all of these are done, I still had a few inside. So again, it depends what you're doing. If you have a business where you sell fruit, you want as much as you can. If you're a homeowner and you have more fruit than you can deal with, so what if you don't get fruit on a portion of the tree? But this one I did. But again, last year I didn't get any fruit on it. And the year before I got very few. So I believe Alex sold me this tree. But okay. I don't know if anybody's even propagating it now. Maybe, maybe not.
Now, are your trees on water?
We have some, we didn't until 2 years ago when we had a little bit of a drought and all our grass started looking really bad and my husband installed sprinklers. I do not have bubblers on any of the trees, okay. But we have regular sprinklers. But, you know, I think they like the dry winter.
Sure.
Yeah. This is a bird feeder tree, okay. Very exotic. Okay. This is a mulberry. Once again, needs to be pruned because it's top heavy right now, and if we get a hurricane, it's going to pull it down. But bulletproof. Mulberries look dead in the winter. This will completely defoliate and look like a bunch of sticks. But the fruit is outrageously delicious. I think it's much better. I would not plant anything like your blackberries, the Florida blackberries. Terrible, not sweet. These are sweet as sugar, delicious. This one is a sweetheart mulberry, a sweetheart because of the heart-shaped leaves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, the tree looks beautiful here, but from your experience and knowledge, if you had to do it all over again, considering it loses all its leaves in the winter, would you still have planted in front of the house?
Probably not.
Okay.
But I have two other trees which lose its leaves in the winter, and that's nature. So, you know, we're sort of into nature here, and so be it kind of thing. Has to be pruned. Again, you see how top heavy it is compared to...
And you're not going to get mulberries up there either unless they fall.
They're hard to pick. I got to get on the ladder.
Exactly.
And honestly, the birds get at least half right now. But I'm hoping... If you ever see the one at Mounts, there's tons of fruit on it. It's beautiful. And this tree is not very old, maybe less than 5 years old. And it was a stick. And who sold it to me? Alex sold it to me. I don't think he's in the mulberry tree business anymore. I don't know. It was when he first started, you know. Mamie?
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 Yes. You know what variety?
Pantheen.
Okay, very nice.
And this tree is also deciduous. It tends to, these get, I mean, it's got a deficiency now, but these, they do get yellow and they drop off in the winter. Last winter was really warm, so I didn't lose all of them, but if you have a cold winter, they drop off. I don't know if you can see, but look at this. This is my issue. The birds tend to get these, and I get very few fruit because of it. I have gotten a few fruits off this tree, not a tremendous amount.
How old is the tree?
It's old. It's not young. It's, let's see, maybe 2012. So maybe 10 years old. It was very small, but this is a very slow growing tree. I did fertilize it in the beginning. I haven't. I'm going to have to do something this year. I don't like to fertilize it when it has fruit because obviously we don't want to promote greenery. We want to promote fruit.
Where'd you get this tree from?
There used to be in Haverhill a nursery called Lotus, and I can't remember the name of the guy. Very sad because he got divorced, so he had to sell the nursery, and it was in his house. And he used to deliver trees to me, and I got a bunch of my mango trees from him, and he brought me this tree.
Well, I have a Pantheen that's not as old as this one, double the size.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, if it's a true Pantheen or if something else is going on, but...
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else and mismarked. Trees do get mismarked. I think he got most of his trees from like Zill and from Homestead, so I don't know. But, you know, like I said, my soil here is very acidic. It's very sandy, which is great. But this has been a pine forest for many years. It still is. So, you know, figure hundreds of years of compacted needles affect the soil. I don't know. I really, once again, I got to ask somebody. This does not like fertilizer either. It makes the leaves turn brown. So, you know, once again, I'm one of these organic people, so a lot of what we do is let nature take its course, and it works with some trees and not others. But I do get some fruit, and I like the fruit. They weren't very big. They were only about that big, so maybe it's not.
Yeah, Pantheen fruit's usually much bigger.
These are not, these are maples that don't really belong here. So that one's a little healthier. They're both red maples, and they're deciduous, and they'll turn red in the fall. And my husband liked the way red maples look. One of our neighbors has a beautiful red maple that's been here, I don't know, 100 years or something. The climate's a little too warm for them right now. I mean, climate change is real in South Florida, and they don't do great. But on the other hand, we're hoping one day they do take off, and maybe a future generation will bear the fruit of a beautiful tree. So... not fruit trees. As you can see, I could put a whole lot more if I wanted to.
And why don't you want to? Just
It's my husband. He doesn't want he doesn't want it to be a forest.
got it.
Fabulous avocado. As you can see, there's some nice avocados here.
What kind of avocado?
These are Monroe. Oh, here you go.
Oh, look at that. Monroe.
Should have cut this bottom branch off at some point because it's going to be touching the ground. But Monroe is an absolutely delicious Florida avocado. This will be ready October, November, December. These are a little early, actually. These are a little early. They're going to get double or triple that size.
It's a big tree.
It is a big tree. I have not pruned it. Probably deserves to be pruned. Pretty bulletproof.
Have you found the taste to be consistent, or sometimes they taste better than others?
Consistent. I have not had bad fruit off this tree. It's better than any fruit, including the beloved Hass that I get from a supermarket. I can't even touch supermarket avocado once I've tasted these. Monroe is a commercial variety, and for a reason. It's a pretty bulletproof tree. I've had no problems with disease, nothing. And the only thing I can tell you about avocados, having been here a long time and lived through some hurricanes, is you will lose an avocado in a hurricane. It will not come back. It will snap. The root system, you don't want to plant it too close to your house because these roots are invasive. They will get in your foundation. But so you don't lose it. It doesn't topple. But they snap, and I lost it. My other house back in 2004 or 5, I had a tree about this size, and it snapped in the middle. And you think, well, okay, it snaps. Will it grow back? No, it never grew back. So, but you know, we live to see another day after a hurricane. But I can tell you, the other tree I had was a day avocado. Was also delicious, very good, on par with this. I thought it was a less vigorous tree, in my opinion. But
was that at a different property?
Different property.
Okay.
Never had it here, but this is just absolutely delicious.
Yeah, big tree. Yep.
Big tree, but you know, we have my husband is a contractor. We have some ladders that will reach the top of that tree. So I've been up there on a ladder. In fact, we did ladders this year with another big tree. My all-time favorite avocado, mango, lemon zest.
We're in agreement there. That's
not 100% recommended because of bacterial disease. I have had, you saw them.
Yes.
I have had zero problem with any disease on this tree other than powdery mildew. A few years ago, I didn't have it this year, I had it a few years ago. Even with the powdery mildew untreated, I still got a good crop. And you know, I'm not on the East Coast and I'm not totally west, so we're in a strip of Palm Beach County that's pretty good. We do get some disease here, but absolutely delicious fruit. And I'm going to recommend this to anybody who tries it will love it.
100% agree. Now, how old is this one?
I got this once again from Lotus, probably 2006 or 7.
So this is unpruned, big lemon zest mango tree, and loaded every year. Excellent. And
you know what?
Yes.
I'm sorry. We moved. You know what? We moved in here 2009, so it would have been after that. So
Okay.
it would have been 2000. I remember planting this tree. 2010, we had a really bad cold snap. It was it was 30 degrees every night for a week straight, and I was putting Christmas lights on my little trees, thinking they're all going to die. They didn't. So it had to be 2010. So that's only 13 years.
wow. And there's a lot of room. It's planted by itself. There's a lot of room behind there. There's a tree that's taller than that, but it doesn't look like it's too shady or bothering it at all. That's just wonderful. This tree is beautiful. Beautiful.
My favorite tree, everybody's favorite tree. You know,
agree.
I don't know. I still think it should be planted. I still think, despite any disease issues. So this is a trio
What about
of...
that one over there?
Oh, we forgot.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a Mahachanok.
Okay.
As you can see, it is a dwarf tree. Now, it is, you know, is it being blocked? Yeah, it is. But despite that, you would think this tree would be very tall to try to get out of there. It still gets quite a bit of sun. It is a very slow-going tree, so I don't know why people don't mention this when they talk about dwarfish trees. The fruit's delicious. No disease problems. I have not heard that people have disease problems with this. I bought this around 2014.
Do you know how far that one is from the lemon zest over there?
I'll tell you in a minute. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So probably about 14 feet.
14 feet, and that's so now if that happened to be another lemon zest that you let go this side,
it would
definitely
be a problem.
Too close.
Yeah,
But then maybe not, because you still have the whole other side for this tree. So
I got this one from Excalibur. Back then, they were the only ones that had it. I don't know if you could patent it. I don't know, but they were the only ones that had
everyone has it now. It's popular.
It's a long, skinny mango that turns pink, yellow and pink. But this should be highly recommended for any small yard. I mean, literally, I haven't heard of anybody having a big issue with it. It is slow to get going. I did not get fruit for the first 2 years. Then again, I only bought it wasn't a big tree, but still. But bulletproof.
All right.
Okay, so this is this is a Bailey's Marvel.
Bailey's Marble here. This is a big tree. And
it's
known
huge.
To be a big grower.
This is 2010 once again. This tree, this Bailey's Marvel tree. This Bailey, how often do you see a refrigerator going by? This Bailey's Marvel tree does not give me fruit every year. It's very finicky.
Really? Okay.
Some years I get no fruit. This year, of course, we got more fruit that I could possibly eat. The reason I planted this is I love Hayden. I thought it would be a little more hardy than Hayden. It does get affected by fungus. It is definitely susceptible. It is a large tree. It's incredibly vigorous. You got to be careful with this tree. Once again, you don't get fruit every year. The fruit's quite good. I had an issue this year with the fruit. It had what we call jelly seed, this particular one. Not all the fruit, which was weird, some of them. Jelly seed is when it's just mush inside. I have asked a number of people, and they talk about calcium deficiency, too much rain, and nobody really knows. But this is the first year I had that, but it also was very prolific this year. I would never have planted this had I had to do this again. I probably would have planted, there's a tree called Spirit of 76, also a Hayden-like fruit, and I think it's a little bit less issues than this tree. But now it's here.
Now, just so everyone knows, it's not this tree, it's the one there.
No, it's this tree right here.
That's just another tree.
Oh, no, this?
That's just in the way, but it's not in the way at all. It's not affecting the tree, but that's the tree we're talking about right there.
Yeah.
That one. And this is the canopy, which is huge. It's a huge tree.
Huge.
And,
all this needs to come down. There was so much fruit on these branches, they all were touching the ground. It was crazy.
Now, when we come back here, through here, we see 3 trees together. And you'll tell us what the other 2 are, but this is a Bailey's Marble. And you'll tell us what those 2 are, but this is one of the reasons why
these are 8 foot apart.
8 foot apart, and 3 sides of the trees are getting fruit. The middle parts are touching.
You do get a little bit of fruit, but hardly any.
Okay.
I was hoping that I would get some hybridization and get a new fruit. It didn't happen, but if I was to take 2 different branches and graft them together, who knows what I would get. But
so what are these other 2 trees?
This is a tree that I wish I could take down. It's my I didn't even eat any of them this year. I hate it. I just don't like them. This is a Valencia Pride. Do I have a dud tree? It was definitely grafted. You could still see the graft. Is the microclimate on this tree bad? Or do I just dislike it? It just has no flavor, just terrible. I think people who like Valencia Pride maybe have not tasted other varieties, but
taste is so subjective.
If I knew somebody that would top work the tree for me, I'd completely take it down and top work it to something else. I'm not that much of, my husband probably could cut it down, but I don't know how to do the whole top working thing. I suppose there are YouTube videos, but my least favorite tree, and it's very large.
And Bailey's Marble and Valencia Pride, two the largest trees you'll find, and you have them 8 feet apart. And they still, even though you don't love the fruit, they still both get tons of fruit.
Incredibly prolific. Oh, this is very prolific. We have issues with fungus. Tremendous issues with fungus on the Valencia Pride. I don't know if other people have that experience.
Now, do you think if they weren't so close, you'd have as much fungus issues, or you don't know?
I don't know, but again, we get it on the areas that are that are fully exposed to sun. So I don't know.
Well, we're going to come through here and look at the outside, and then we'll talk about this third tree. But I want to show everybody there's a third tree there that's still 8 feet apart in a triangle. She planted them. So there's the Bailey's Marble, the Valencia Pride, and that's the third one we'll talk about. But when we come through the outside here, you can see the canopies. The middles are just all together and just shade, but it looks almost like one big tree from the out, but it's 3 trees planted in a triangle. And again, 3 sides of each tree you're able to get sun exposure and mangoes. What's that third tree?
This is a tree that hardly anybody plants right now, called Harvest Moon. Once again, I got it from Lotus Fruit Trees. It's too bad. It's so sad. I'll never forget, I bought a 5-gallon, and the 5-gallon was about this tall. It was like the biggest 5-gallon you can imagine, and he used to deliver them, and I think it was $25 back then.
Wow.
Once again, 2010. They are huge fruit. I believe I gave you one.
Yes, it was delicious.
Delicious. Very citrusy flavor. Again, an Indian mango background. Citrusy flavor, round, huge. A showpiece. Something you bring to somebody's home that looks like a cantaloupe that is just beautiful. You don't get a lot of them. It's not a prolific tree, but you get enough because each one has the same amount of fruit as 5 or 10 of another type of mango.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, no disease issues. I have not had any fungus, bacteria, had a few split. I think we got a lot of rain this year, so that wasn't to be expected. I didn't get that last year. But I do think that if you want, obviously, I see people asking, what mango should I plant? Nowadays, there's so many places in South Florida you can taste the mangoes in mango seasons. Taste the mango before you plant it. You may fall in love with this. It's a unique taste. It's got a very citrusy kind of feel to it, more than lemon zest, which I always find interesting. Why they would name it lemon zest, who knows? But I do recommend it for people that would love the flavor, don't care about production, and want this showpiece of a fruit. I made a fruit basket for somebody, and I put it in the middle, and it just looked, magnificent. So,
well, there again, this is high density on unpruned trees. It's working, and it is possible. I always say if you want to plant high density, it takes more work, but this is no work, and it's still working. So there goes the myths of them. But again, if you had another high tree close on the other side, I think it might not work because they'd be too caved in. But a triangle with 3 sides available, you're showing it works, and I wanted to come here and show that, so thank you.
The reason my husband planted it this way is he wanted it sort of on a decorative note, and it is decorative. It looks like a giant tree. It's a shade tree now. If I was a kid, I'd want to climb them.
Yeah.
This is this tree, I don't know, it has a deficiency right now. I'm going to take a photo to Alex and say what should I give it, but a delicious fruit called a sweetheart. I planted this a little later than the other trees. I'm thinking, when did I plant this? Probably around 2017. So as you can see, it's not a small, it is hard, you know. This tree had a very, very hard prune. The reason it had a hard prune is 2 years ago, it had so much fruit on it that the limbs, literally limbs that were up there, were on the ground.
That's how it is.
I probably should have thinned it, but you know, I wasn't thinking back then. And my husband hard pruned it, so we didn't get any fruit last year. That's why he's banned from pruning. This year I got quite a bit of fruit. I think it's a very sweet, delicious fruit. Very sweet. They are almost heart-shaped, which I thought was kind of cool.
Now, when do you normally pick them? When they're yellow or green?
When they're just turning yellow, they can split on the tree. They will ripen if you pick them green. They ripen better than any other mango, I think. But I do, there might be, this is my latest tree. I just picked one 3 days ago.
Oh, wow.
There were some, actually I picked two, so there were some left in here. For whatever reason, this is my latest tree. Uneven ripening is what I've heard about this tree. I don't know. I haven't really had too much of that issue. They, you know, again, I do pick them a little on the early side. For whatever reason, bluebirds love this. I find bluebirds decimating my tree on a regular basis, or blue jays, excuse me, blue jays. But
well, your husband's really smart, because if he would have did a great job pruning this, he'd have a lot of work ahead of himself. But it's like the newly married husband that does the laundry the first time and mess it up. Don't do the laundry anymore. Well,
he did that. Yeah, I think he did it on purpose.
Well, hey, smart guy. But it's a beautiful tree and sweet tart.
Sweet tart. You can. I think it's readily available right now.
Yes.
I always tell people taste it, but if you like, it's got a lot of sweetness to it. But it's got a little bit of that tartness too, to balance it out. Absolutely delicious mango. Really, really a different taste.
Hidden behind here, these.
This is a hidden spot. Is a Jaboticaba.
Okay.
Which my husband likes to prune on a regular basis. I don't know why. He's funny. A fairly prolific tree. Has it grown very much? No, Jaboticabas don't. There's that old saying about a Jaboticaba that you don't plant it for yourself. Jaboticabas are beautiful trees with that peeling, beautiful bark. Very decorative. Why is it back here? Because we wanted the AC to give a little bit of, they love water. They're wind resistant. They won't go down in hurricanes. They taste like grapes, but you do not eat. It's very like a grape. It's too bad I don't. You know, I guess you could put a picture in.
They are beautiful, yes.
Beautiful fruit, delicious fruit.
And the fruit grows out of the bark of the tree.
Oh yeah, it's really cool looking, and it's a surprise. Like all of a sudden you'll see no fruit, and a day later you'll go and there's fruit all over it, and they're quick. Like you'll see the little white blossom, and then 2 days later is a fruit. So it's not season now, but in the spring it will be. And that I get these before my mangoes, which is nice.
Yep.
So.
It works.
My Jaboticaba. I got that from Richard Wilson. Plant a Jaboticaba near an AC unit that's dripping water.
Good idea.
Another trio of trees. These are all smaller trees. This is Pickering. Pickering is a true dwarf.
Yes.
This has been in since maybe 2011, 2012. And my husband cut them back in the middle. Once again, he does things that I don't know why, but he decided one day. This tree is a little funky the way it's growing because it got run over by a truck when it was small. And a few years ago, and we righted it, and it seems to have come back. The fruit is very coconutty. The fruit this year was not good tasting. It had a funny taste. I don't know why. Last year it was absolutely delicious. So my consistency rate is not there, but you can grow this in a pot. My feeling about growing mangoes in pots are that you have to be incredibly dedicated. They don't like it, no matter what. This is a Carrie, which is an incredibly
8
prolific
feet apart,
tree.
by the way, everybody. 8 feet again.
8 feet.
So that's your Carrie. Wow, it's big.
Whoever tells you Carrie's dwarf is not telling you the truth. Now, is it as vigorous as my Bailey's Marvel? Not even close. But it is not a dwarf tree. It is a smaller, medium tree. I like the fruit. I don't like the consistency. It's sort of mushy. But I actually like the flavor. I think the flavor is like just dripping with sugar, and I like sweet. So I was thinking, man, do I really want to keep this tree? And then this year I liked them so much, I said, oh no, I'm not cutting this tree down. So this is like, I always tell people, taste a Carrie before you plant it, because there's an awful lot of people who really dislike the consistency. They're mush. You cannot mail them. I don't know how you would, unless you somehow overnighted them, but they don't keep well. And you have to pick them when they're a little green. If you wait till they're coming off the tree, you've already missed the boat.
Same day.
Yeah.
Again, 3 trees, 8 feet apart in a triangle. A ton of space on this Carrie to get a ton of fruit on this side of the tree. This is working. You did this great. Okay. And then there's that one tree back there. I'm going to come around here.
Now we're going to fight this all year.
Oh, there's the seedlings on the floor.
There's tons of seedlings.
You ever let them grow?
No.
Okay.
I'd have a yard full of seedlings, because what happens, oh, look how many are over there.
Wow, yeah.
What happens is that the squirrels will take their, it's amazing when you see it, they roll the mango and they'll go to like a private place. We found mango seeds all over. And you'll get a mango growing, I don't know, next to your pool, and you'll be like, how did this get here? The raccoons, interestingly enough, like to dip the mangoes in the pool. So they'll take the mango in their hands and they'll go over to the pool and they'll dip them in. I've watched it, very strange. But we compete with the critters here.
So on these big trees, I imagine that critters get a lot of the fruit.
They do. This year it didn't matter. My husband has dispatched of some squirrels.
Okay.
Because especially if we don't have a lot of fruit and he sees them getting it all, he will dispatch of squirrels, which is controversial. Some people don't believe in that. But I can tell you, I happen to know all these people with fruit nurseries do it on a regular basis. Squirrels are not endangered. In fact, there's too many. So this year we didn't. This is a Fairchild.
Fairchild.
Beyond prolific. Beyond. They grow in big clumps. They're very small yellow fruit, little yellow fruits. I have one neighbor that just loves them. They're good. I don't think they're top tier like my lemon zest, but they're good. Once again, for whatever reason, Fairchild Gardens, I wonder why, but they make this their fruit tree of the year, their mango of the year every year. Fairchild Gardens does that. So I would, if I had to plant it again, I probably would not have. I probably would have planted something else, but it's here. I certainly enjoy eating them. It's got a little hint of what we call like a resin, which is like, some people call it spice. So it's got a hint of it, but it's not overpowering. If you eat a Carrie at the wrong time, it has a lot of resinous taste. That's why Carrie, you got to figure out when to pick it. And that's an art, I think. I have one more tree.
Well, while we're here, we look at the 3 giant trees here in the 8 feet apart. It looks like one big tree, but there's 3 trees. It's amazing and beautiful. And then here you come to the semi-dwarf trees, And similar, they're growing, they're getting tremendous amount of fruit, and they will. So this could work. This could work.
It does work.
Nat could have just planted trees along the whole way here, even 20 feet apart, and had enough room for a lot of these. But this is a different style, and if you do this, it's less, and no work she's doing, and she's getting mangoes. That's the key.
Well, look at all the wild mango trees you see out there, the turpentines and whatever's growing, whatever. People don't take care of those trees, and they do well. That's why, for the most part, depending, mangoes, if you buy a resistant variety, it's going to be bulletproof for you. Even if something happens, it's going to bounce back.
But again, if you had another tree 8 feet on the other side of this, then you have an issue.
It would be too much.
Yeah.
But they look nice. They're like a little pod, and you come and they're sort of decorative.
Very nice. And then you got this last tree here, which is a...
This is an Excalibur Red. I think the fruit's good. Not everybody likes it, apparently. Do I have any fruit on it? This is a weird year. For whatever reason, I got no fruit on my tree this year. And I've gotten it every other year. This was a very, very small tree that I planted back in maybe 2016. I had a longin here. And longins are very vigorous trees. Now, every time we had any hint of a tropical storm or anything, it would be on its side. If it got a little bit wet, you almost felt like you could move the tree. It just never really... Even though it was beautiful, it never really planted itself in a way, and it fell down like 10 times, and I got tired of riding it, and my husband said I had enough with this longin, so I put this here. We've gotten fruit for the last 5 years, except for this year. Is it too warm for it? Is it too humid? I don't know. I'm expecting next year we'll get fruit. I had a My One seedling planted like over here somewhere. There's no remnant of it now. That tree took off like you would not believe. That tree within a year was 20 feet tall. Wow. It was huge. I got some fruit on it, and the fruit was so bad that we cut the whole tree down. So my advice is be careful of seedlings. I know people are planting them, but they're definitely not true. They're definitely, it was like literally all rag. And so finally I'm like, what am I doing with this stupid tree?
It's like a 50-50 chance you're taking.
This, the Excalibur Red is a salmon-colored fruit, and it's crunchy. And mine tastes good. It has a little bit of a bubblegum taste. Not everybody likes that. I enjoyed them. I put some, did you try them? I gave you some frozen ones.
Yes, and they were okay. My neighbor has a Excalibur Red, and I don't find it to be the best jackfruit out there.
What do you find the best jackfruit?
I really like the Bangkok lemon.
Yeah.
And I also love the China, which is a softer fruit. It's
That's
amazing.
Been around for years, China.
Amazing.
I might plant another jackfruit somewhere. Maybe the lemon, the Bangkok lemon. And who's selling that, right? Oh, well, I guess everybody nowadays.
Yeah, you can get them all over.
What am I missing? I am missing longin, lychee.
Oh, star apple. Star
apple are okay. White sapote I did like, but they're very, very big trees. I don't want to plant something that's going to be out of control.
Oh, you don't have star fruit. That's the...
I'm not a fan of star fruit. I've had them in my other house. I tell people do not plant more than one star fruit because you can only eat so much. There's something in star fruit that's not good for people with kidney disease as well. I don't know exactly what it is. You got to be very careful.
Too many. Now, you only have one avocado, which covers one season. So I would maybe... There's another avocado you can get for another season. Like right now, Simmons is available, and it's delicious, and it's an earlier one. So if you had another one, it would just expand your season. That's all.
Yeah, I might plant another avocado was up there to do, and I probably, lychee you can't plant right now due to the mite.
I wouldn't, yeah.
And a longin, I might give it another shot. If I could talk my husband into it, I think they're going to be over there. I have some people, that's their whole yard.
Yeah.
So some people, and of course I have this whole area. As you notice, we have some baby pine trees.
Yeah.
Our neighborhood is very into preservation. You cannot cut down any of the cypress. They're protected. And cypress are very slow-growing trees. Like the cypress you showed me that was in front of my mango, that's got to be 100 years old.
Wow.
Cypress, and they're beautiful trees. And the pine trees also are protected in this neighborhood. Sometimes you have to take one down. We had a pine tree fall in our house during a hurricane. It was before we bought the house. We have photos of it, though. Destroyed the roof. So we had to take that pine tree down that was near the house because it was growing towards the house.
Cool.
So when you take one out, you have to plant two. So it's not like I can take that out and just plant a fruit tree. Those have to be here. And I'm happy about that. If you look at my neighborhood, look at it compared to the new neighborhoods they plant now with, what do they think are trees? They'll put a few, not unnatural, what do you call it? Palmettos or something. And you look, well, palmettos are natural, but they'll put a few palm trees in. Otherwise, it's bare. It's not natural. Our neighborhood is cooler than everybody's neighborhood. All the trees, in the fall, you can feel a breeze come through here. And the moment you get out of our neighborhood, that breeze goes away.
Wow. So
our neighborhood's cooler. If people care about global warming like they say they do, they would not cut down forests to make housing developments. But of course, they don't think about that. This neighborhood was built in the 1970s, and I have the original paperwork, with the idea of preserving nature. That's how they marketed this neighborhood. So as you notice, when you come on the roads, you have to go around trees. They have trees planted in the middle of the road. Those are original trees.
Wow. So,
my mango trees complement the natural trees that are here. So I think it's a good, but all the neighbors, when I first started planting trees, I got a little flack from the HOA. Like, what are you doing? And I said, I don't see anything in the HOA that says I can't plant mango trees. And they said, you're right. And there's now legislation in Florida that you can plant vegetables, fruit trees, whatever you want on your property, and your HOA cannot stop you.
Wow, that's good to know.
There's now legislation. It was signed a few years ago. Not that long ago. So anybody who thinks an HOA has power over you planting a tree, they don't. As long as it is an edible thing. So, but anyway, this is my oasis. My house is my oasis.
Well, thank you for showing us around. I love it, and I've been wanting to come show people how close you planted and how it's working for you. So thank you so much for showing us.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
One more thing.
Sure.
You see those two stumps?
Yes.
So we planted some coconuts that we found on a neighbor's yard that were sprouting. And their coconut trees were nice looking trees. They weren't that big. And lo and behold, something happened and they went nuts. I never saw something grow so fast and so wide. Like the coconut palm fronds were 20 feet. They were just, so my husband had to cut them down. But we were hoping, coconut's a fruit tree. We have gotten them from our neighbors and actually cut them open and enjoyed and shredded them and enjoyed fresh coconut. And they're readily available. Keep an eye, your neighbor might be cutting them down, cutting the fruit down, and they'll put them out in front of their yard as yard waste. You've had fresh coconut.
Sure, and some of them are smaller dwarf ones you can get that'll help to keep the height from growing.
But as you can see, I guess, I don't know, I guess we talk about microclimates. They like that microclimate.
They sure do. Well, thank you again for showing us around. This is a wonderful property. All right.
Well, I look forward to seeing this video up, and I know you edit them, and just see I don't know what my yard looks like to somebody else, so I can't wait to see it.
And do you have any problem with people coming by and taking mangoes?
Very rarely. people will knock on my door occasionally, usually like lawn guys that don't speak English very well, and say, my wife likes mangoes, can I have one? Or no, even better, a lot of them say, can I buy some? And my answer to them is, no, you can't buy them, but I'm going to give them to you. I don't sell any of my fruit. If somebody wants some fruit, they ask me, and they get the fruit. I give them away. I posted on the Florida mango, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to sell them? And I said, no. I said, if I have of the abundance, and I don't make my living doing it, then you are welcome to my abundance.
Yeah,
so
very kind of you.
Well, we're also a gated neighborhood. I think if I was out not a gated neighborhood, I'd have everybody and their grandmother and uncle coming and stealing my fruit. I think Alex has a problem with people coming in there.
No, it's gated. I mean, a little, but it's gated. He's good.
Yeah, he had people. He was telling me. But he makes his living doing that.
Yeah. Well, this is beautiful here. Thank you again for having us come on out.
Thank you. Okay. Have a great day.
All right, everybody. That was Nat, an amazing yard, and just such interesting the way she did it, and it's working. Probably the least amount of work to do is do this. No pruning the trees, ultra density. It's working, so it's wonderful. And you know, depending what you want, she could have planted along the whole side and farther apart, but this is the design she wanted to, and she explained why. So if you have comments or questions, post them below. If you have a yard and you want me to come out, the email's below. I've been saying that, but I just realized I had the wrong email address in there. Now I corrected the email. So if you have contacted me in the past and I didn't get back to you, please contact me again, and I will get back to you. If you have a yard in South Florida, you want me to come and film, please contact me. I look forward to it. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel so I can get more videos out there to help you learn, and I learn myself. Until then, everybody, have a great day and keep growing.